The More Movement Crew.
Welcome to the More Movement Crew podcast. I'm your host, Kenina Porter, and this is episode 11. So welcome to the show. I'm so excited for another episode and so excited that we get to share another special guest and their story with you today. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel by pressing the button below so that you can get links. You can get the link and information on all of the latest videos that we have coming out every week. We want to see more subscribers. I want to hear more people's comments. We want you guys to like, to share all of our videos. So welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. And today's guest, I'm so excited. We've been talking and having conversations about him coming on the show. So finally, he is here with us to share his story. But before he introduces himself, just like we do every episode, we're going to play a game. So are you ready for this game? You are?
Yeah.
You sure you're ready for this game?
Yeah.
Okay, the game is called 5 Questions. And so on this game, we just ask 5 questions to get to know you, to kind of get inside your head and figure out what you like, what you're passionate about, and what drives you. Is that cool? All right, you ready? Ready for question number 1? Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So question number 1 is, what is the most interesting place that you've traveled to and why?
I would say California. I went there with my grandmother 1 year ago.
Okay.
It's in July. And I think that's like the most interesting place because it's really the place I've only been out, like far away. So.
Okay. Okay.
And I got to see my brother and my uncle. And yeah, it was really cool.
Okay. So why was it so interesting? Like, what was it about California that made it so interesting?
It's just like the different like things that are out there. Like I got to go to the beach. It's like the palm trees. I took a lot of pictures. Mm-hmm. Disneyland.
Yeah. So could you see yourself living in California? No.
Not really.
Not really. Okay. It's just to visit, right?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I kind of feel that way too. It's expensive. Next question. What gets you out of bed every day?
My mom.
Your mom?
Yeah, she said, all right, it's time to wake up. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, so then aside from your mom, like what motivates you to not only like get up, but to be like, okay, I have things I need to do. Like what is it that helps you to like get out of bed?
It's like thinking about like my future. So like education, how that's going to take me places, how it's going to get me like a stable job.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Colleges and everything.
So your future. Cool. Okay. So if I were to ask you to describe yourself in a color, what color best represents you?
Purple.
Purple. Why purple?
I like the color purple. It's like a certain vibe it gives off.
Okay.
It's like the shade of purple though, so you gotta have the right purple.
Oh, okay. The right purple. The right purple. I like purple too. Name 3 songs or 3 artists, if you can't pick 3 songs, that are currently in your playlist right now.
William McDowell, Send the Rain. Resurrecting by the Walls Group, and Glory by Chris Liss.
Oh, Chris Liss. Shout out to Chris Liss. Definitely an awesome artist. So you got a pretty good... I love the Walls Group. Yeah. The Walls Group is so dope. Like I love their latest album. Mm-hmm. They're just so talented. Like, yes, they're just amazing. Follow them on Instagram. Like they're just like full of energy too. So I love their energy. So... Cool. I like those 3 options. And the next question is, what is the best advice you were given?
The best advice I've been given, I would say to stay resilient. Because there are a lot of times when you face like some obstacles and you just want to give up. It's just like, I'm done. But you gotta pick yourself up. You gotta pray about it, and you gotta believe that you're gonna make it.
That's good advice. Resilience. That's so important. All right. And those are the 5 questions. See, they weren't too bad. They weren't too bad. You look like you were ready for another one, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So that was the game, 5 questions. And so now we are going to officially introduce our guest, JJ Harris, to the show. So welcome officially to the show. I want to go ahead and start just giving you a little insight as to how we met and how we got to the point where I invited him onto the show. So JJ and I go to church together. He is on the worship team. He's a musician. He's a singer. And so we were just having a conversation probably, a couple weeks ago about my podcast and about being on the show. And he was giving me some Instagram tips and helping me to figure out how to operate my Instagram. And so then we started talking about him being a guest on the show and some of the music that he's working on. And so that's kind of how we got formally introduced. But I want you to actually formally introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, I am JJ Harris. I'm a singer, songwriter, musician,
Student,
yeah.
all of that. So I'm so excited that you decided to come on the show today. And so I just want to have a conversation around your music, right? Around like what makes you so passionate about your music. So let's start off asking, like, how did you know that you love music? Like, did you start off as a child, or like when did you know, like, okay, I love music, I want to be a singer or artist or musician?
Yeah, it did definitely start off as a child, as a growing young kid. Yeah, I grew up around a lot of music, a lot of gospel music, in church. And so it was always like a thing to listen to music, it's the constant thing.
Yeah. So like, how old were you when you like started to like actually like sing songs or perform songs, or like, how old were you?
I don't know my exact age, but I did my first performance, and it was this song called I Am. I was little, it was in New Birth Church. Yeah, I was really little. I think I still have the recording of some of it. Yeah, that's my first performance.
Wow.
It's like the kids choir behind me and everything.
So after you did your first performance, like, what were you thinking? Were you thinking like, wow, this is something that I really enjoy doing? Because I mean, for some young kids, singing in front of people, like that's kind of scary. Like,
yeah.
So is it something that you were like, yeah, I like this, I think this is what I should do?
Yeah. I wasn't nervous because I didn't know what was going on. So when I was like older, I did my first, well, it wasn't my first, it's my second, in the Fruit of David choir. And so that's the youth choir. I was only 8, but I had to be 10, but they allowed me to, sing.
Wow.
So, yeah, I did that. It was called Mighty God by Dietrich Haddon. Yeah.
So you have just, I also, from knowing you and knowing your family, I know that you have like a strong support system. Your grandmother, a strong support system as well. And so how was that like for you, like growing up, and how did that like shape like what you believe?
Yeah, my grandmother's always been there. She's always supported my family, me as a person. Yeah, she's always been a big help in everything, like my piano lessons, vocal lessons, guitar lessons. I would say like guitar and vocal, I didn't really take like that, but piano, she really did take me to that. I've been doing piano for a long time, ever since I was like what, 7, 6.
Wow. So you've been doing it for a really long time. Wow. So with kind of that in mind, like where do you want to go? Like where do you see like the vision for your life with the music? Where do you want to go?
I want to be a gospel singer. Growing up in church, it's always been like something I would always love to do, like to minister in music. I feel like it's like a need to, touch people because it's really needed today in this world and this society. We need to, have that love from Christ.
Okay. So you have recently produced your first single. Talk a little bit about your first single. Talk a little bit about how it came about and what was the process for that.
Okay. My first single is called You, referring to God. That came about when my grandmother passed away. She lived with us, my uncle, and my mother. She lived with us, and she was a big influencer in my life, in their lives. She always took me to church, and she was a great role model of what a Christian should be, and
That's great. So you decided to just write that song after just thinking about her influence in your life, or is there something that she always told you that inspired you to write the song?
She influenced my life a lot. She was a great woman. She always volunteered. She was a very selfless person. She always, she would always spread love to others, and she always volunteered for like almost anything. She was in a Spirit of David choir at church for a very long time. She did retire from that, and so she was a very good person.
Yeah. So it's amazing that you have so much of that support system with the church and with your grandmother and your family. So what do you think? Let's talk about the generation, right? That I will have to say your generation because I'm definitely much older than you. So your generation, what do you feel like, from your perspective, being younger, what this generation needs in terms of like messaging? What do you feel like this generation needs at this point? Because you see it in school, like you experience all of it, and so what do you think that like your gift can provide to this generation?
To win over souls. I feel like as this world grows, we need to realize that, love is a big part of, what we need, because it's like you see like on the news, like, oh, this criminal did this, or, it's just everything, it's just happening. We need to know that God can change our lives. He can, do things in your life that not even you could believe. And so even though these obstacles may come, you need to like stay woke, stay focused. And you have to say like, oh, I know I'm going to get through this. I know I'm going to, keep striving to be this person that God has called me to be, because I believe every person has a purpose. And so you need to go out and fulfill that purpose, fulfill that dream that you have, anything you want, you can just do it if you just set your mind to it.
That's great. That's a beautiful message, though. I definitely agree with you when you said everybody has a purpose. And I think that is what this generation of young people really need to hear, is that they have a specific purpose. There is hope in the midst of all of the craziness that goes on in our schools and in our communities, that there is hope. you know? And so I think that, you know, you putting out music, positive music, influencing young people, I think is definitely a really important thing. So let's talk about what's next after, okay, you got the single out. So what's the vision? Like, what are you going to do next?
I am working on my Christmas album.
Okay. Christmas album. Okay.
And after that, next year, it's going to be a EP.
Okay.
You is going to be the signature song of it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So have you any performances coming up, or have you done the open mic night event, or is that coming up too?
No, I passed that up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't feel like I needed to do it. I felt like, you know, my time is going to come. So I just have to wait.
Okay. Okay. So you're just gonna wait and see what opportunities come up, and kind of just be prayerful about what you should do next. Is what it is. Okay. Cool. So is there anything that you want the audience to know, particularly about you, or particularly about your music, or what to look for, or anything? No? Not really? Okay. Well, can you tell the audience where they can reach you, where they can contact you, and how to connect with you?
Okay. You can reach me on my Instagram. I am JJ Harris. My Facebook page is I am JJ Harris. Twitter, JJ Harris Music _
Okay.
Feel free to hit me up with any music ideas or anything that you may want to say.
Awesome. So we end every show the same way, and I ask the guest the one question: when did you know that there was more? And so this question is asked because a lot of times there's always a moment or a series of moments where we know that there is something else that God has for us, and so there's a defining moment. And I always ask that question because I want to know when that moment was. So when did you know that there was more?
I knew when I had like started coming out of what felt like depression when my grandmother passed away. I knew there was more when God started to show me things. He started to talk to me. And so that goes on to, you know, getting like some studio equipment and, you know, being like very confident and knowing like the outcome. And so you is like a very reflective part of me. And so that's me being transparent with others. And yeah, that was something. It was like a project.
Yeah. Awesome. That's beautiful. So, you know, God just basically revealed to you a lot of things in that time, and that's when you knew to kind of push forward. It's great. And I think that that's such an important message to people and to our viewers, especially younger viewers that are watching, that if you allow God to really speak to you about what the more is, then he will open doors for you to do that, just like he's done that for JJ. So thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for checking us out. I'm going to post a link to his video at the end of this video, so you can check him out and check out his single. Make sure you support it, like it, share it, all of those things, as well as support and like and share our channel. Thank you for tuning in to this episode, and until next time, be blessed.
It's so easy to live life the way you want to, and not caring about how God feels about you. Without you, it's not about you, and that's not the